Whoa! Goosebump. Whoa! Frieren versus... Oh yeah, they recognize each other. Because, again, when we're high strung, in a high stress environment, especially in life or death, without proper relationships, we will mistaken other people's intention for something else. That's also our survival instinct kicking in. That's what Frieren's demonstrating. We need context. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a UPenn educated licensed psychotherapist and a professional yapper at your service. Welcome back to my detailed psychological analysis of Frieren Season 2, Episode 6. After a week off, happy Frieren Friday. Assassination Zero, Samsonian, Helixi, Jin Ichimaru, and Roxy Love are the founding sponsor members of my videos. Shout out to your support. After a drought last week, we are so back. And I'm very, very excited for today's recording. And we'll see what the second half of Season 2 entails. Since Episode 6, we are officially into the latter half of the seasons. Anyway, remember, you matter. You are worthy. Sit back, and I hope you enjoy today's over-analysis. Oh no. Oh. Wow, this is a dramatic change of pace from this more mellow, wholesome traversing through the north until now. It feels more of a confrontation, feels more of a rude awakening, the true reality behind what the north really is about, with demons, attack, slaughter, death. Oh jeez. I see. So we're starting episode 6 with senseless killing by demons. We'll see where the episode goes. Oh, dang. These are the soldiers. Oh. One-sided. Absolutely lopsided killing. Oh my goodness. How many villages are in ruins? Man. Was this planned? Was this just unexpected? Oh, that is a big ass demon. Oh man. Go pigeon. Oh, I was scared for that pigeon. Wow. Okay. Quite a brutal start. Also, I'll be taking notes as well for more layers and to better dissect the shows. Oh, I forgot her name, but I haven't seen her since first mage tournament. Nice. She's the one that could do it all, right? With that detection skill, she could also heal. She was jack of many traits. A demon begging for his life? Oh, he's the first class mage, one of the proctors from first round of the first mage tournament. A lot of combat to start. Oh! Of course, demons lie. They only use words, communication as deception. True. Enough said, right? Demons learned human communication, not to actually humanize one another, because humans use communication. And if you think about languages, I would argue, sure, there's the internet, there's AI now, there's all these amazing technological advancements by the civilizations, by the human society. But I'd argue the most powerful technology that's ever been created, ever in human history, is language. Think about how amazing this thing that we call language is. It is one, man-made. That's why, therefore, it is technology, a form of technology. And two, it allows us to convey and express what's in the internal to the external with other people who look different from us, different nationalities, different skin color, different races, different age, different chapters of life. Through this language, it allows us to communicate on the same page based on your communication skills, how you articulate it, and so on. So language and communication is for humans to humanize one another and to deepen our relationships, deepen our connections. But for demons, it's simply a avenue and a tool It's a technology for deception, to distraction, so they can survive and kill more people. And that's been proven and verified on and on again throughout the series.
ゼーリエ様からの直々の討伐要請。何事かと思ったが、魔族に襲われた故郷の慣れの果てか。
Oh, it's his hometown. Oh shit. What happened to his families and friends?
愛着のようなものはまるでなかったが、こうしてみると寂しいものだな。
Interesting. Remember, language and communication is what we use to convey what's the inside, but sometimes words lie. Words can be deceptive, not just from demons, obviously from humans. He's interesting. He's very seemingly stoic so far, and obviously Frieren also represents stoicism, stoic expression, cognitive empathy, which is what Frieren represents. Here, he's like, I bear no attachments to his hometown. Yet, it is still sad to see his hometown in ruins. That's contradiction, right? If you truly bear no attachments, you wouldn't feel sad. But of course, you could argue that, well, he's still human. There's still empathy. It's still fellow humans and villagers that maybe he knew or didn't know still died. And in front of grief, in front of death, the ultimate equalizer, we pay tribute. So yes, that's possible. But something tells me that maybe he is similar to Frieren, very stoic, but there's discrepancies between what they say versus what they mean. But we shall see. Oh, the guy who was hiding in the beginning survived. Man. Genau? Ganu? Genu.
分かっている。無事だよ。みんな無事だ。
He avenged for their death. Okay.
魔法使いのくせに女神様の魔法が使えるんだ。
So healing.
変わったやつだろ。
Oh, so yeah, she's okay. So that's the blonde girl in the beginning, who's like very well-rounded, master, jack of many traits. She can use goddess magic, which is what I talked about, because she was able to heal. So hopefully they could rescue him and heal him in time.
だからお前の怪我もすぐ治せるよ。店もまたすぐに開けられる。どうだ。
Oh, they know each other. Genu knows this guy that he's carrying on his back. And think about even the scene, right? Genu, whether it was in the first mage tournaments or now, he gave off very stoic and aloof nature. And to be fair, stoicism, being stoic, is not to be confused with being aloof. It's actually, so again, I don't want to go too much into it, but the core of stoicism, if you really know what stoicism is about versus just reading a couple headlines online, Stoicism is about acknowledging the tragedies, acknowledging and accepting the emotions, the good and the bad, sadness, grief. And you process that. You sit with it. If you need to cry, you cry. But you just want to make sure you're not overwhelmed and hijacked by your emotions to a point where you cannot live a functioning life. That's what Stoicism is. We cannot control the outcome of any events in life, but we control how we respond to those events. So here, Ganu, he's seemingly stoic, but even more so very aloof, indifferent since the first mage tournament. But here, for how clean he is, as prestigious as he is with one of the few first-class mages, he's not new. He's very, very seasoned to a point he was a proctor. But here, he is carrying a person who is dying, severely injured, with blood dripping all over him. He's a very clean guy. So that reveals that he knows him, this guy who's on his back, and even said, have you finally learned to bake decent bread? That means there's a lot of history, interpersonal history between them. Again, this speaks to what I said earlier. Genu, he cares more than what he reveals or what he shares. He does have attachments, emotional attachments. So it's not that he just feels sad because they're humans, but because he actually has emotional attachment with the village, his hometown, of course. But of course, he is minimizing that verbally, probably to minimize also his own grief. Because the words and communications and language you use are powerful. Because we can speak reality into existence. If you repeat negative things all the time, then we'll become more negative. We see more negative things, right? Similarly here. But anyway, I think this scene, him carrying the injured friends or acquaintances of the past, indicates that he cares more than what he says he does. Kind of similar to Frieren sometimes. Oh no! He's dead. Damn. And I guess everyone in the north been eating those brick bread that could give you concussion. Oh, this is reminiscing. So nostalgia. I think his friends or acquaintances died. The baker. Oh man. So many tragedies.
怪我人はこちらに。怪我人？気休めを言うな目頭で。もう死んでいるんだろ。
Oh shit.
こいつ。
Yeah, he died. R.I.P.
見つけた時にはもう助からない状態だった。ひどい匂いだろ。腹の怪我がもう腐り始めてたんだ。こんな奴が助かるはずがない。
Dang.
それでもこいつは私にしがみついてきたんだ。
He did cling to him. Oh, that was his last willpower. And also, again, going back to my character analysis of Gnu, again, despite his words saying that he doesn't care, he said all those words. He was talking to his deceased friends / acquaintances, not because he knew there was hope, but I think he was trying to ease his transition, ease his friend's departure from this world. He was talking to him as if there's nothing wrong, as if they're not confronting mortality, and as if he's not going to die. Just like a friendly conversation, a chatter in like a cafe on a Sunday afternoon. He was doing all of that to create a comfortable, relaxing environment despite the tragedy, despite the horrifying nature of the demonic slaughters. He did all that, all those conversations. Like I said, it was to humanize his friends in light of his anticipated death. Gnu, he also deeply cares.
こいつはパン屋の息子だった。子供の頃はよく一緒に遊んで。
Oh, they were friends. Oh
親父さ
man.
んが亡くなってからはこいつが後を継いだんだが、
A lot of history.
こいつの焼くパンはあまりうまくなかった。
Oh.
もう食えないんだな。
Oh. His bread wasn't very good. I wouldn't be able to eat it anymore. Again, that's a lot of respect for the dead. That's a callback in terms of bread is really bad, but I don't get to eat it anymore. I think that's a callback in reference to Boshaft. And also, some of the viewers commented, Boshaft was to play on words with bullshit.
Oh my dude, you just got pranked!
Because it tastes like garbage. Boshaft was one of the worst, awful, horrible liquor. Yet, when they were shared with friends, right? The village after Frieren deciphered the magic barrier, it created new memories despite the actuality of a horrible liquor it was. Whether it's good or bad doesn't matter. When it's shared with people, it's wonderful. Same here. That's what Gnu is saying. His bread was awful, but I will never get to eat it again. What does that mean? With death, it ends the possibility of continuation of new memories. With death, no new memories, no further enrichment, deepening of relationship will be possible. We will never get to share these memories, even with horrible bread. He's not talking about food. He's not talking about the quality of bread. He's talking about his grief, his minimized denial of grief with the passing of his friends. Rough.
みんな一緒だ。こいつも寂しくない。
Oh, entire village.
私たちではなく、こいつらなんだろうな。
Why does it have to be them instead of us? That's the perfect depiction of a survivor's remorse or a survivor's guilt, definition right here. A lot of soldiers, since I'm a veteran, right? I served 6 years in the United States military in the army. A lot of combat veterans, when they come back from war, after they losing their battle buddies, it's a very, very common sentiment. Why did it have to be them? Why was it them, not me? Why did I get to survive? Why did I get to come home to my family, my daughter, my wife, my partner, but not my friends, but not my battle buddy? That is a depiction. That is a verbalization of survivor's guilt. They feel guilty. It should have been me. It should have been me that died on the battlefield. Why wasn't my friend who was innocent? That's what Gnu was saying. Why did it have to be them, not us? Because we are first-class mages. We can actually do something about it. Versus the innocence, the senseless killing that robbed any possibility of a future for this village. Why was it them, not us? Survivor's guilt.
この村の奴らは私たちと違って
Yep,
戦
exactly.
いの道を選んだわけじゃない。
Oh, Gnu when he was young. He has the same hairstyle, huh? Aww.
死ぬのなら一級魔法使いという戦いの道を選んだ私たちであるべきだ。
ゲナウさんに責任はありません。
Gena-san?
もう
Okay,
一回
Gena?
見てくる。
少しは休んだ方がいいのではないのですか？
Remember one of Method's first exceptional ability that it was very, very established and evident, even in the first maze tournament, especially in the third round with the maze one? She's very intuitive, not just as a woman, because women tend to be more intuitive, not because they're different necessarily or better. Of course, men and women are different, but I mean, women tend to be more intuitive because they're more honest with their own emotions and feelings. But here with Method, I don't know if this is her magic ability, her innate power, or just intuitions, probably all of the above. With her intuition that's been established since last season in the first maze tournaments, she's picking up signs of unprocessed grief, denial of grief, minimizations of his suffering. That's why she's like, hey, Mr. Gena-san, you should probably rest. Because she knows he's suffering. And we saw a glimpse of his grief with that flashback of his friends, the Baker friends. Flashbacks and memory recall are used very, very skillfully throughout the season, or throughout the series actually. Anytime there's a flashback, it's to one, memorialized, either with Frieren about him or the hero and the hero's party, or here about this grieving process. Why else would you think back to the past if you're not grieving? If the context necessitates emotions. And no matter how Genau try to repress his emotions and grief, it's gonna spill over. Because emotions like waves, right? Think about emotions like ocean waves. It comes and goes, ebbs and flows. Sure, by the harbor, you can put up physical barriers to rest your ships and boats. But can you absolutely control waves? No, you cannot control it. You can regulate it to a certain degree, but waves be waves. Waves do what they want. Same for emotions. We can do things to regulate and manage our emotions, but we can never control emotions because we're not ChatGPT. We're not robots. We're humans.
なぜ？
なぜって。
Because you're suffering, man.
静かに。私の目が一つ潰された。
二人です。
Oh, must be Frieren's party. Frieren, Sark, and Fern. Oh, see, Method's detection skills are exceptional.
これは
Whoa! Goosebump. Whoa! Frieren versus... Oh yeah, they recognize each other. Look at Frieren's innocent face, even when she's about to absolutely annihilate with the beam of death. Whoever or whatever she was facing. But look at her innocent face, huh? But of course, they recognize each other.
なんだ、フリーレンか。ということはもう一人の反応はフェルン一級魔法使いだな。
Ayo.
メトーデと一級試験の時の試験官か。確かゲナウだっけ。
Oh, Frieren's perfect memory shows up again.
たく、すごい殺意のこもった魔力だったから魔族かと思ったよ。
That's actually really deep, what she just said. This speaks to without social context, we can mistake people's intention. Why was there such an intensity of bloodlust behind Genna's spell? Because of his grief. His strong desire to avenge for his friends. That's a symptom of grief. But Frieren, who doesn't know that, who just arrives at church or outside of church, she mistakenly thought that as must be demonic. because it's so intense, the bloodlust. What does that say? This is the reason why when there's high stress environments, even during war scenarios, even alliances, even allies can mistake each other's intensity for survival, avenge, all that as hospitality. Because again, when we're high strung in a high stress environment, especially in life or death, without proper relationships, we will mistaken other people's intention for something else. That's also our survival instinct kicking in. That's what Frieren's demonstrating. We need context.
気が気ではありませんでした。
Mm.
フェルン大丈夫。味方
So even that's why Method was urging Gna to rest, because she's been sensing her intuition and her mana detection skills, been sensing Gna's again bloodlust of his intensity of killing. Yeah, again, this is why humans are emotional animals. Our emotions will always sway and influence our decision making. Full stop.
だよ。シュタルクに伝えて。はい。
Nice.
そうですか。フェルンさんも討伐要請を受けていたんですね。
All came from
北
Zairi?
部高原にいたからね。それで状況は
祈っているのか。
Paying tribute to the dead.
いや、そうは思わん。
俺の村も魔族に滅ぼされた。魔族って人間を食べるんだよな。なんで死体が残っているんだ。
Oh, that's a good question.
俺の村もそうだった。
Very good question.
さあな、理由は知らん。あいつらは腹いっぱいでも人を殺すんだよ。なんでだろうな。
That was deep. Stark is right. Demons eat humans, but even when they're full, they still commit senseless killing. Again, this is a perfect illustration of this dichotomy between humans and demons. Humans, we do not only fight for survival. We humans fight for memories, love, loyalty to your village, your hometown, belonging. We humans fight for many reasons outside of just survival necessarily. But whereas demons, they don't just kill for survival, aka food. They also commit senseless killing just for the sake of it. That's why they're fundamentally different creatures. And here, of course, we've talked about demons, but in this specific episode, I think demons symbolizes psychological otherism. Definition right here. They are other. They're truly other from us. We cannot fathom their way of thinking because they're fundamentally different than who we are. We cannot apply our conceptualization, our framework of thinking onto creatures that are fundamentally different than who we are. We can try, but it's not the same because they're different. They're made of completely different fabric of their existence, their reality, right? That's what Gna and Stark are saying, that they kill even when they're full. Who knows why they do what they do? Not me, at least. They're psychologically different. They're the other from us. But we humans, we fight for love. We fight much beyond just the basic necessity of survival.
村にいた魔族は2人が倒したんですね。一足遅かったみたいだね。これでも急いだつもりだったんだけど。
Oh, there's a demon that escaped.
村に駐留していたノルム騎士団だ。
ノルム騎士団。
Even the Norm company died. Oh, shit.
紹介が保有する軍事勢力。
Oh, man.
彼らはこの村にはもったいないほどの精鋭だったよ。
Of course, this is a continuation and a callback to episode 5 when Norm cohorts Frieren into finding that silver orb in the mines to pay back 300 gold and all that. Of course, I talked about it would have been ideal if Norm pleaded emotionally first and then the logic and facts and stats about, hey, the Norm company's dying. We need the supply chain, the logistics and all that. But this is a direct relationship because I'm sure the silver orb that Frieren found that as a payback for her debt also help pay and allow the stationary of all these soldiers. And massive, massive respect to the soldiers from the Nord Company. They stayed until the very end, until the literal last breath of their lives. They truly gave up their lives. They sacrificed for the sake of loyalty and sense of duty to protect the villages. Despite, I'm sure they knew they were going to die. Especially as soon as they saw that massive demon, they had to send that pigeon off to seek support, which I'm sure Zairi received and sent out Genau, Method, and now Frieren and her party. But much respect to the soldiers and especially the Norm Company. Despite how they came off, they truly are for the people.
隊長はこの男だった。
Dang, even Captain
長
died.
年村を守り続けてきた英傑だ。
はるかに強い。
Whoa.
そりゃ俺と比べたらそうでしょ。
Far stronger than Stark?
突進を剣士魔法の結果。
Wait, Stark can now defeat... I guess he defeated one dragon, but Stark is pretty strong at this point. Yet, that whatever demon maybe that escaped was able to slaughter the entire Norm Company soldiers and the captain? Dang, pretty OP demons.
死因は剣による斬撃で
Bad blades,
全員
okay.
即死です。
村にいた魔族たちは彼ら
So the true culprit escaped. Okay,
おそらく村を襲った魔族はまだ生きている。
good
よかっ
deduction.
たな。お前たちがここに来たの。
一緒にそいつに人類の恐ろしさを教えてあげよう。
Goosebumps. Look at that murderous smirk by Frieren. She only shows this smirk in light of demons. Wow, let's show them how terrifying the humanity can be. Absolute bars. Yo, the latter half of this episode is about to be peak. Let's go. So hyped.
こうでこうですかね。騎士たちの傷の状態だと。
もしかしたら
Oh, the method is trying to do a post-mortem analysis, trying to reverse engineer based on the wounds of the soldiers. And this is what forensic people do, right? Especially if you work in the morgue or like autopsy department. They try to replicate and see what happens that caused the death of the victims. But obviously those are awkward movements. And of course, Method is not a warrior. So Stark could have a more accurate commentary about, no, that's probably unlikely and so on. So I guess my speculation is maybe it was like a mage, but a sword wielding mage demon that uses magic. That's why it could kill people and kill all these soldiers instantaneously, which implies speed.
二刀流なのかも。
Or that's double wielding.
だとしたら
True.
範囲外にいると考えていいと思う。この村の近くは安全ということですね。ゲナウに周辺にある魔族の拠点に
You know, it just hit me. You know what's really sad about this episode? That fortunately, the Norm Company soldier was able to send off that pigeon just in time. That Zairi received the seeking request or help seeking request, and they were able to dispatch these first mages. But imagine how many villages in the North Plateau. Imagine how many villages that experienced a demon's senseless killing, who never got the opportunity to seek help because there was no survivor. I'm sure this situation of senseless killing, slaughters by demons are happening ubiquitously across the Northern Plateau. And how many villages, how many victims, how many people never get to bury their bodies, never get to get their death avenged because they never were able to seek help. So this is the lucky few in a sense. Sure, everyone died, but at least now they have Frieren, Stark, Fern, Method, and Genau here to avenge for their death. So these are the lucky few, so to speak. But so many tragedies that's unseen because it never made it out. Man, it's dark. It's rough out here.
まあその前に夕食かな。
Yo, you could hear the freaking brick bread from that bag, dude. My goodness.
減っては戦はできぬだ。
Dude. Dude.
またこのパンか。
It almost looks like honey graham crackers except it's like massive.
通網が回復するまでの辛抱だね。
The Norm Company, of course.
ゲナはいや、メトーデは敵の分析結果を教えて。
Okay. Post game
先に敵の
analysis.
構成を知りたい。
じゃあ俺が渡してくるよ。
Also, I bet Genal is still in church because, again, that's his grieving process. He is memorializing, he's thinking about, and he's trying to spend more time with his deceased friends.
それで分析の結果は？正確な敵の構成を把握するにはもう少しかかりそうですが、分かったことはあります。そっか。じゃあ先に作戦会議。の前にやっぱり夕食にしようか。
Oh yeah, Method initially thought Frieren was super cute, and remember Fern got jealous and pulled Frieren away from Method. So I guess Method also finds Fern cute. Look at how seasoned Fern has become. Of course, this is not new for Frieren. Frieren's experienced eons and eons, millenniums of senseless killing, avenge, death, tragedy, loss, and all that. But Fern, she is only what, 18, 19 at this point? Her composition, she's so composed. Speaking of compositions of enemies, she's so composed despite what's going on, despite knowing their pending mission to hunt down the demons that actually slaughtered everyone, the double sword wielding demons. She's like, I still gotta eat. And at this moment, she's just herself and bread. That speaks volume to Fern's experience and her progression as a first class mage. That's amazing. Oh, dude.
硬いな。
I'm worried about their dental health. I'm sure there's no dentist in Frieren's world. Like, oh, I hope they don't chip their tooth.
何をやっていたんだ？
Praying for his friends.
魔族の襲撃で教会の結界が壊されていたからな。より強力なものが張
Oh, you see? Ganal's heart shows. He does. Why would he have to replace the church barrier? Everyone died. There's no survivor. Because that's where their bodies are. That's where his friend's body rests. He doesn't want their eternal slumber. He doesn't want their eternal peace of his friends, the remainings of the villagers, to be disturbed by demons again. That's why he's putting in extra effort. He's going an extra mile to replace a barrier with a stronger barrier, although there is no one alive anymore. He wants to make sure their eternal peace is not disturbed and they can truly rest in peace. Ganal cares deeply.
中にあいつらの死体もあるしな。
Exactly. Yep.
なあ、なんで死体をそのままにしてるんだ？埋葬するなら手伝うぜ。力仕事は得意なんだ。
そうか。北部高原出身じゃないやつにはわからない。
Because they could get dug out by demons. Demons will eat them.
基本
Are
的に
monsters?
北部高原の村落に墓地はない。あるとしても、堅牢な城塞都市の片隅か。結界に生まれたお貴族様の墓くらいだ。あとはすべて魔物の少ない北部高原南端の共同墓地に埋葬される。わざわざ死体を
Monsters eat them?
不臭につられて魔物が集まってくるんだ。
Makes sense.
地獄のような光景だよ。
Oh man.
ノルム商会
This is a reality of the Northern Plateau. There is no peace even for the dead.
ずいぶん前から死体を燃やすようにと主張している。
Cremation?
実に商人らしい合理的な考え方だ。私も賛成だよ。でも、聖職者連中が黙っていない。奴らの気持ちもわかるよ。
Yeah.
苦しんで死んだ人間を火にくべるなんざ正気の沙汰じゃない。
Makes sense. I see that point.
でもいつかはそうするべきだ。
Damn. Super bleak. I love Frieren's troll face.
まずパンを食べている時の
For sure,
なんだかこ
dude.
うして一緒に食事をしていると
Mm-hmm.
再会するとは思ってい
Small
ません
world.
でしたからこっちもね
So this scene, this seemingly innocent and wholesome scene, despite the tragedies at large, despite the lurking danger, threat, this scene of them, these three people sharing bread, one, it's a communion. Communion, of course, is usually in Christianity, but communion also can be used secularly, right? Communion simply is breaking bread, sharing fellowship with company, with their people. So this is one, communion. Two, this is also it's a portrayal of social buffering, definition right here. In light of tragedies, death, grief, trauma, we need to rely on one another, social engagements, social relationships to buffer the damage and impact of grief, loss, trauma. So through breaking bread, having humor, right? This shared dining experience with humor. Yeah, this bread shouldn't be sounding like this. This is not how it's supposed to sound when we're eating bread. That's humor. Shared dining experience with shared humor, serving as social buffering in light of grief and death and trauma. And this is what trauma is, right? We all know what trauma is. But the best way I like to conceptualize trauma is simply a shatter of our expectations of safety. It's interruptions of our patterns of safety. When something traumatic happens, we expected us to be safe, but the expectations were shattered, right? So trauma is a shattered expectation of safety. And if you look at one of the theories, polyvagal theory, definition right here, polyvagal theory. Polyvagal theory simply means, right, we have a vagus nerve right here. A vagus nerve, definition right here. And here's the diagram to show you. Vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve connecting our brain that helps us regulate our hearts, our emotions, our organs. And of course, through a vagus nerve, we can regulate the parasympathetic response, which means we're safe or relaxed, or a sympathetic response, fight or flight, survival, threat, and all that. And that's what vagus nerve is. And polyvagal theory shows that the highest hierarchy, the highest level of polyvagal state is social engagement, definition right here. Ventral vagal state, definition right here. Ventral vagal states, or known as social engagement state, is when we help co-regulate each other's emotions through this feeling of safety, psychological safety, and emotional safety. Why? Because we as humans, we feel safe when we are with each other. Can you make jokes? Can you use humor? Can you share a dining experience when you're literally in a fight or flight survival mode? No. You can only dine in light of peace and safety. So what they're demonstrating is also a sense, the social engagements or ventral vagal states. They're allowing they are co-regulating each other through social engagements, meaningful social relationship. Very deep. Of course, Frieren is napping. She can sleep through anything, dude. Oh, that's the request. Same request.
二人組で北部高原の魔族の討伐任務をしていますから。一級魔法使いってそんなことまでするんだ。ならなくてよかったよ。というよりも弟子としての仕事ですね。弟子？
Oh, method became typically okay. All first class mages become Mizari students. Wow.
一級魔法使いは基本的にゼーリエ様の弟子になることになるので。そういえばそんなこと言ってたっけ？私は断りましたよ。
Yeah, that's right, Fern. Do you see how proud Fern looked with her, just massive smile? I turned her down Frieren-sama, you're a good girl. Obviously, that's Fern's attachment style coming up. And of course, Frieren is Fern's caregiver. No matter how legendary Miss Zairi is, no matter Zairi being the closest being to goddess status, doesn't matter. It's about relationship. And of course, Fern doesn't need Zairi because she's under the mentorship of Frieren, the Grey Mage, right?
わがままを聞いているわけだ。大変だね。そうでもないですよ。あの人ちっちゃくて可愛いじゃないですか。
Method is also very, very special and very exceptional as a mage. I'm excited to witness more of Method's OP nature as well. But all of this suggests that Zairi, just like Frieren, cares more than what she appears to be. Same for Gana, right? Because Zairi knows when they usually receive these pigeon mail requests, it's probably too late to dispatch first-class mages. The villages who requested the help are probably slaughtered and dead, most likely. Just like Frieren has eons and millenniums of experience, so does Zairi. Zairi is not naive, and she has perfect intuition. She's never been wrong, according to the first-class mage tournaments, and according to Frieren, many times. Zairi's never been wrong. Yet, despite the low likelihood, low, abysmally small probability of actually saving any villagers, what did Zairi do? She nonetheless still dispatched and deployed Gana with Method. Zairi also cares deeply about the humanity. And that's another callback and reference to Flame, the legendary mage. Flame probably was Zairi's favorite student, the one mage that came the closest to Zairi. Zairi cares deeply.
そうかな。もちろんフリーレンさんも負けないくらい可愛らしいですよ。
Oh, Fern's about to get jealous. Yep. We see Fern pouting immediately.
それにゲナウさんほどの反面教師もいませんしね。
More stoic approach.
私のようにはなるな。
Don't end up like me, aka suppressing your emotions. We gotta accept our emotions, feel the
お腹
feelings.
も満たされたし、
Let's go.
作戦会議と行こうか。
それで敵の分析の方はどうなっている？
お
何か分かったか？
なあ正確な魔族の
最初はそのように仮定していたのですが、
Oh, okay.
やはり釈然としない点がありまして。
I'm telling you, I think it's a mage demon.
ことに重きが置かれています。
Okay.
なので一本は致命傷を与える長剣。
And one is a
もう一
short.
本は取り回し。
Yeah.
切り跡には自然と差が生まれるのです。
That's true. Different physical impact.
遺体の傷や戦闘の痕跡からイメージして同じ切り方を試みたのですが、やはり二刀流ではどうしても動きに無理が生じてしまいます。
おっと悪い
すみません。
What's the theory?
刀流です。
4!
そうか。
It's a 4-armed demon?
騎士や建物に刻まれた切り跡を見る限りそう考える方が自然だって。
Oh.
4と。
Oh, that was the demon that the last surviving soldier before he sent off the pigeon saw through the mist or the whatever dust from the ruins. Wow, 4 blades. Okay. Definitely a very strong demon. Maybe he's heard about it before? Whoa. Whoa, very ominous. I wonder if that means Ganal knows of that 4 blade wielding demons. I wonder if there was an encounter before, or he's heard some legends or lores before. Anyway, yeah, for me, the main takeaway from this episode is definitely trauma, loss, and grief. And how, yes, different people have different ways of processing grief, and everyone grieves differently, yes. Despite the different method of grieving, pun intended, one thing, and the first thing we must do is acknowledge our feelings. Feel the sadness, feel the grief, acknowledge that, sit with that, and then internalize it. We have to process our grief because I really believe philosophically that grief is the price we pay to experience love. And for us to deny grief, minimize grief, run away from grief, it also means we are denying and rejecting the love behind that grief, rejecting the relationship, the history with those that we're grieving over, the deceased. Whether it's with Ganal or the Baker friends, doesn't matter. To deny grief, to deny our emotions, is to deny a part of us and deny the relationship we shared and cherish. We have to process our emotions first and foremost. Anyway, enough yapping for today. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this episode 6 after a week off. As always, please smash that thumbs up if you enjoy my analysis, and make sure to subscribe to make sure my videos show up on your feed. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Please join our Patreon family and YouTube memberships if you want early access and exclusive content. Remember, you matter, you're worthy. And let's all tap into the ventral vagal states or social engagement states to help each other to co-regulate our emotions, because life is a team sport. Until next week, peace.